Hey, what's going on? This is The Miz, and it's a bottom line. We are a week from the season. The time is coming. The energy, you can feel it. 1 week away from week 1 in the NFL. One of the best sports weeks we have in sports. And I will have a show in the middle of this week. I will have a Miz in the Midday live show with Collins. And we will talk predictions for the Giants and other teams around the league. And people can call in and give their predictions about any team they want to. And predict the playoffs and their Super Bowl winners. 2 teams they think that will be in the Super Bowl. And we will do that in the midweek. But today, I just wanted to talk about a player that a lot of Giant fans, are, I don't know, I would say there's some back and forths, and there's, a half a fan base that is for him, a half a fan base that is looking forward to the future, and that's number 8. Our quarterback for the New York Football Giants, Daniel Jones. And here's the thing about Daniel Jones. He is the week 1 opener for the New York Giants, and he will be wearing the New York Giants jersey. And I don't care who you are, and I don't care what you feel. And I'll get into my feelings, because they're complicated. But Daniel Jones will run out of the tunnel in Nashville, Tennessee, week 1 at 4:25 p.m. He will represent the New York Football Giants, our team. And you cannot sit there and tell me that you're not going to be rooting for him. I mean, if you're sitting there and rooting for the guy to fail, then you're going to have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, where have I gone as a fan? Now, I understand, and I'm going to go into it right now. I do understand this is Daniel Jones' 4th year. He does not have a contract, and this GM and coach did not draft him. And Daniel Jones, has underachieved as the quarterback of the Giants for his first 3 years. We understand that. And we understand that he has not been given the tools, the O-line, the weapons, the healthy players. There's a lot of things that have gone on that have crippled his opportunities. He's shown some flashes when we've had a few guys healthy. But let's be honest. The man's had no coaching, no development around him. Okay? And no offensive line. Now the new regime's in, and they're attempting to put together a decent O-line. It takes time. You have some weapons. They got to stay healthy. And we're going to see what he can do this year. Personally, myself, I'm a diehard Giants fan, and I'm going into the season rooting for this kid. He's a good guy. He works hard. He's there first. He leaves last. He does all the right things. He's humble. Okay? He's got the tools. He has an arm. So the guy does everything you ask of him. He's a gym rat. And he's giving it his all. And the circumstances have not been fair. But sometimes that's life. Make no mistake about it. There are quarterbacks in college that are standing out. There are young, talented quarterbacks. Let's keep it straight. Richardson looked really good Saturday. C.J. Stroud, I expect to be the #1 quarterback coming out of college in this next draft. Okay? You got Young from Alabama. I'm not the biggest fan of him compared to the other guys. There's Van Dyke in Miami at the U. The Kentucky kid, his name slips my mind at the moment, but the Kentucky kid, I've heard the Giant guys like. You have a whole season here to see what these guys could do, and as Giant fans, your eyes should be on their games. It is not by mistake that Joe Schoen is week 1 in Ohio State watching C.J. Stroud. The funny thing is, when he went to the workout days for the other guys from Ohio State before the draft, he got a chance to get up and close with C.J. Stroud. We all saw them having conversations. And while he watched some of those guys, he got to see him throw the ball to those receivers. You know what? And I admit I'm a big fan of C.J. Stroud. I like the way he plays. I like the leadership he brings. And sometimes there's an aura around the guy that you just totally can feel is going to be something real. I have not been a fan of the other quarterbacks that come out of Ohio State. I would not have drafted them. This kid's different. This kid is different. He has the looks, the feel, the makeup of what can be a special NFL QB. Now, a lot of kids love Richardson down with the Gators. He looked amazing Saturday. Yes, he's very athletic. And, you know, that's a type of kid that create a lot of things with his legs and with his arm combined. I got to see more of him throughout the year. You know, one game is not making me run after the guy. I got to see it a few games this year, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see it all season. So there's 2 quarterbacks right there. The kid Van Dyke is a little more of an old school type of guy. He can run, but he's a really big time passer down the field from the pocket. He sees down the field and he can throw very accurately over the top. Again, we have to see more of him this year. I think a lot of people don't know much about him. I got to see the kid in Kentucky. There are quarterbacks coming out this year, and you can't be ignorant to it. And as Giant fans, we're going to be watching them and licking our chops all year long. Look, I'm a Giant fan, and I'm going to pull for the guy wearing the jersey this week. But I am no means ignorant to the fact that this is most likely 90% Jones' last year as a Giant. Because the circumstances dictate that. New regime, new GM, new coach. His contract is up. He's not shown enough to be rewarded a big 4-year contract. They're building a roster for the next quarterback. I believe that because that's just what it looks like. And in my mind, I'm rooting for Jones to have a big year. But he's no Eli Manning to me, and I'm not committed to the guy. Do I want to win? Yes, and that's why I root for him. Is he a good guy? Yes. Does he have tools? He does. But you got to be realistic. The Giants are not competing for a Super Bowl this year. It's a rebuild year. And the regime, with some of the moves they've made, shows you that the wins are not as important as the rebuild and growing. The kids are growing this year. Because the next offseason, there's a lot of money, and there's another big draft. And I got to tell you, if you told me to put my hand down now, I tell you, we're drafting a quarterback in the first round of next year's draft. There's no doubt about it. And you're going to see that Joe Schoen and the scouts are going to be at a lot of these games where the quarterbacks are quartering. And I believe next week's another big one. Because if I'm correct, it's the Kentucky quarterback. I believe either against C.J. Stroud or Richardson, one of them. And you get to watch a game with both quarterbacks that are going to be on the Giants' radar. Believe me, I hate to talk about quarterbacks when we're going into week 1 with Daniel Jones and the Giants, a fresh, brand new season where we hope to see things and we want to see the Giants win. But you got to keep it real. The Giants are not going to compete for a Lombardi this year. Most likely, 500 is the ceiling. When you look for the team to get better as the second half of the year goes on, and you look for the kids to grow. But if 500 is the ceiling, and most likely 500 is probably the best we can do, I'm talking 8 wins. You know, the Giants, in my mind, I wasn't going to give a prediction, but I predict the Giants are a 7 to 8 win team this year. You'd like to see them grow in the second half of the year and show signs going into the following season where we can finally have expectation. But hey, you just got to be real with yourself. There's a very talented QB class coming out in this next draft. And there's no way in the world the Giants are going to pass up on it for Daniel Jones and what we've seen out of him. That's just the way the world works. It's a new regime, and they're going to go out and get their own QB. And you know what? With the type of talent that's coming out of college at quarterback, it's exciting, and I can't argue with it. Guys, like I said, The Miz is doing a midday call-in live this week. I don't know exactly what day. I'm looking towards around Wednesday or Thursday afternoon in the midday. I would love people to call in. We're going to do predictions for the Giants records. We're going to do the games that's coming up this week. I want everybody to give me one lock of the week and one upset by a dog for this week. And that's what I'm going to do every week. I'm going to do a show once. I'm going to do one show a week on predictions where I'm going to pick about 5 games. And then one of them is going to be a lock. And I'm going to try to throw in one underdog to win the game outright just for fun. I did it last year. It was fun, and I believe I hit on a few. Like I said, this is a big year of football for the Giant fans because not only do we get to watch the Giants, but there's about 5 or 6 quarterbacks that we're going to be watching every Saturday in college. Am I a Daniel Jones fan? Yes, I am. The guys on Twitter know I've backed up Jones, and I've gotten into heated conversations with people defending him. The Giants haven't done him right. But that doesn't mean that the Giants owe him another contract. I'm rooting for him. I want to win games. But at the same time, I got to be real. And this year's a rebuild year. It's about the kids on the team growing, and it's not really about wins. And I think the regime is going to play it that way. And they'll be heavily scouting quarterbacks. And it's pretty obvious that in the 23 draft, the New York Giants are going to be drafting a QB in the first round. And I understand you love Jones and you want to see him be the guy, but you got to be real with yourself. And I've come to terms, and I'm keeping it real. We are not going to be passing on this QB class coming out of this next draft, because if we did, we might not be good for another decade. I'll see you guys on a Midday Miz this week.